The story of Rachel.
Oh, Jake, I've waited for you for so long,
said Rachel. I know, Rachel. I've always wanted you, Jake replied.
Let's have sex now, Rachel yelled.
Okay, Jake agreed. Jake began pulling his pants down. Oh, Rachel. Oh, Rachel, Rachel. Rachel, Rachel. Rachel woke up as her mom was yelling her name.
It's time for school. Get out of bed now.
Rachel sluggishly got out of bed and sauntered to her dresser where she put on her hand-me-down clothes she had gotten from her older sister that barely fit.
Not another day, she thought.
Hurry up, her mother demanded. I'm going to be late for work again. Rachel took her time getting into her mom's car. She wasn't looking forward to another day at her high school. They arrived at the school and Rachel got out of the car. Hey, you forgot your backpack, Rachel, said her mom.
Love you too, Mom,
she said under her breath. The hisses and giggles from the crowd of people in front of the school filled Rachel's ears. One group of popular girls were particularly loud.
OMG, there's that Rachel girl. She's like so ugly and stuff. Oh my god, I know, right? She should totally get better clothes.
They all laughed as Rachel walked to the doors of the school. She reached the door as it flung open, hitting her in the face, and she fell down. Everyone laughed.
Hey, what the?
Rachel looked up and saw a handsome boy, athletic, well-built, think strong, arms, and a bulging package. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, said the handsome boy. He reached down and helped Rachel up, and she began blushing uncontrollably.
Thanks, Jake,
she stuttered. No problem. Your name's Rachel, right? Jake asked. Rachel was gushing in her panties.
Yeah, I'm Rachel.
Oh, well, see you later, I guess, he said.
Yeah, later, she said.
Rachel ran straight to the bathroom and locked the door. Hey, why did you lock the door? Said some random girl in the bathroom.
Oh, sorry.
The random girl left with a confused look on her face. Rachel made sure no one else was in the bathroom and then locked the door. She pulled off her soaked panties and dropped them. They made a noise like a wet was rag. She laid down on the semi-moist floor, spread eagle. Her hands groped her tits, and her nipples were hard. She slid her hand down towards her pussy and was gushing like a river. She ran her fingers through her coarse pubic hair, and she felt her erect clitoris. She shuddered and stuck her fingers deep in her pussy.
Oh, Jake,
she shouted. In and out, she moved her fingers. Her body was convulsing as she squirmed all over the bathroom floor. Faster and faster, she finger-fucked herself. She knew it was going to happen. She came hard.
Oh, fuck, yes. Oh, fuck, Jake, yes,
she screamed. She lay there for another 5 minutes, exhausted, before she finally got up, cleaned herself off, and pulled a fresh pair of panties from her backpack and put them on. Rachel left the bathroom and slowly walked to class.
Late again, Rachel. Take your seat,
said Rachel's teacher. Rachel took her seat, ignoring everything else the teacher said the rest of the class. She just doodles in her notebook, Hans and Jake's name over and over. Beautiful drawings of her and Jake together. She even named their future child, Chad. She loved that name. Rachel went about the rest of the day going from class to class doodling, catching glimpses of Jake in the hallways. She made another trip to the bathroom, made sure no one was inside, and locked the door. But this time was different. After she locked the door, she turned around and saw the school janitor standing there.
How did you get in here?
Rachel asked. The vents. I'm always in the vents. He grumbled hoarsely.
What do you want?
Rachel asked. You got a thing for that J kid, right?
How do you know?
I was in the vent earlier. I saw you, he said. Listen, I stole his leather jacket from his locker. Rachel gasped. You can have it, but first you gotta do something for me. The janitor continued.
What do you want? I'll do anything,
said Rachel. Anything. The janitor unzipped his pant and pulled out his cock. It was a huge 10-incher. Suck it, and you can have it. Rachel didn't know what to do. She was surprised by the janitor, but at the same time, she wanted the coat.
Fine, but put the jacket on,
Rachel said. At least that way she could try to imagine it was Jake. The janitor's cock was bulging and veiny, and smelled disgusting.
It's for Jake, she thought to herself,
and dove in. She gently licked the tip and slowly took the shaft into her mouth. Oh yeah, that's a good girl, the janitor moaned. She kept thinking of how hard Jake's penis would be, and how she wanted it in her mouth. She sped up and started stroking the area of the cock she couldn't reach with her mouth. The janitor cringed with pleasure as his testicles twitched. He grabbed Rachel's head and pushed it deep onto his cock, releasing his hot sperm into her throat. Rachel pulled back and started coughing. Hey, you're not so bad at that. If you ever want anything else, keep giving me those, said the janitor, taking the jacket off and tossing it to Rachel.
Thank you,
said Rachel. Anytime, replied the janitor, as he climbed back into the vents. Rachel stuffed the jacket into her backpack and left the bathroom in a hurry. She was so excited, she wasn't even looking where she was going and bumped into someone and fell on the floor.
Hey, watch where you're...
Rachel looked up again and saw Jake. I'm sorry. This is the second time this day. Ha ha ha. Jake put his hand out to help her up. Rachel reached for his head slowly. She felt his soft, muscular, manly hands. Jake pulled her up off her bottom with barely any effort, and Rachel wiped herself off.
That was kind of my fault that time,
Rachel stuttered. It's alright. I was just looking for my jacket.
Oh, your jacket? You mean this one?
Rachel pulled the jacket out of her bag.
I found it in the trash by the lunchroom,
lied Rachel. Those jokesters from my team must have thrown it in there. Jake grabbed the jacket to take it back, but Rachel held onto it for a second before letting go. Hey, thanks for finding it for me. You're so nice. Well, see you around, I guess. Jake turned around and began walking away.
Hey, Jake,
said Rachel hesitantly. Jake turned around. What's up?
Would you like to come to my place for dinner tonight? My mom's making her special beef and bean burritos.
Rachel asked, surprised herself for acting so confidently. Jake looked somewhat confused, but replied, sure. I love beef and bean burritos. Rachel was so happy and excited that she had to tell him the address 3 times before he could understand her. Well, see you tonight, Rachel, Jake said as he left for his next class. Rachel went back into the bathroom. The final bell rang for the day, and Rachel ran as fast as she could to her mom's car.
Mom, I'm having someone over for dinner tonight. Could you make those beef and bean burritos?
A guest for dinner? Her mom asked, confused. You never had a friend over. Who is it?
His name is Jake, replied Rachel.
Oh, a boy, huh? Rachel's mom asked. Well, I have to go out and get more stuff to make them. But alright, he can come over. Rachel was so excited when they got home. She went inside and made the table all nice and tidied up her room, while her mom went to the grocery store. Rachel went into her bathroom, took off her clothes, and began fingering her pussy up. Her juices flowing all over the floor. She couldn't stop thinking of Jake's member being inside of her. She almost climaxed when the doorbell rang. She quickly put her clothes back on and ran as fast as she could to the door and opened it. And there was Jake, standing on her doorstep. Rachel let him in as her mom pulled into the driveway. Oh, hi. You must be Jake. Oh, you're so big and strong. Could you help me with these groceries? Said Rachel's mom. Sure, no problem. Jake picked up all the bags with one hand.
Oh!
You're so strong, said Rachel's mom, almost filling herself up in front of them. Rachel's mom began cooking as soon as she got inside. Rachel and Jake sat awkwardly on the living room couch making small talk.
So, what position do you play? Asked Rachel.
Even though she already knew, I'm the quarterback, he replied.
Oh, is that a good position?
She asked almost flirtatiously. It's one of the most important positions. I'm the one who throws the ball to my teammates, Jake explained. Dinner's ready, shouted Rachel's mom. They all sat around the table making more small talk. Wow, these burritos are fantastic, said Jake. Thanks, it's a family recipe, said Rachel's mom. They all finished their dinners and kept talking about different things like TV shows and music, other football-related things. Well, I'll clean up here, said Rachel's mom, picking up the plates and cups and bringing them to the kitchen.
Hey, wanna see my room, Jake?
Rachel asked. Sure, why not? Jake replied. They went to her room and Rachel locked the door behind them. Jake turned around confused as Rachel reached for his large bulge. Whoa, what are you doing? Asked Jake.
I want you, Jake, so badly. Please take me,
said Rachel, dropping her clothes. Jake picked her clothes back up and put them on her. No offense, Rachel, but I don't feel the same way about you. But I still want to be a friend. Jake stopped. He grabbed his stomach, and it started turning and making loud noises.
What's wrong? Rachel asked, worried. Bathroom, said Jake. Rachel pointed to the bathroom, and Jake took off running full force to the toilet. The burritos were biting back. Jake quickly stepped in the bathroom and almost slipped in Rachel's pussy juice, but regained his balance and got onto the toilet. He let out some watery poo that burned his colon. He pooed and pooed for almost 30 minutes. Then it hit him. A big one. Probably the most massive poo he had ever had. He strained hard and slowly forced the poo out of his rectum. He was almost in tears from the pain, but finally, after 10 minutes, he managed to force out the behemoth. He quickly wiped up and tried to flush, but the monster wouldn't bulge. Afraid of the embarrassment this might cause, he ran out of the house and down the street back to his house. Rachel watched from her room confused. Wait, where are you? But he was already gone. Fuck! I almost had that cock in my hands! Rachel started imagining what it might have been like if Jake actually fucked her. She went into the bathroom and saw the Titanic poo Jake had left. The smell was overwhelming. She tried to flush it, but it wouldn't fit through the hole. She tried and tried to flush it, but gave up quickly because she was too horny from thinking of Jake, and ripped her clothes off and sat on the toilet, her juices dripping all over Jake's gargantuan turd. She ignored the smell and thought only of Jake's giant cock filling her pussy, and she finger-fucked herself. Suddenly, Rachel heard something splashing around and she felt something moving underneath her. She jumped up and looked into the toilet. Hey! Jake's poo has come to life. Frightened, Rachel turned to run but slipped in her own juices. Whoa! Calm down, Rachel, said the poo. What are you? And how do you know my name? Rachel said in fear. I'm Jake's poo, and your pussy juice, along with some questionable ingredients, has brought me to life, explained the poo. The poo sprouted arms and slowly climbed out of the toilet, leaving a trail of brown stains everywhere it touched. Rachel tried to talk, but the poo shushed her, leaving a brown mark on her lips. Don't talk, just listen. I was brought into this world by Jake's colon, but your juices brought me to life, and now I want to make love to you. Hell no! Exclaimed Rachel, but then she started thinking, it is Jake's poo after all. Then she noticed it. The poo had grew a massive, thick, heart-throbbing shitcock. So, you don't want this? Asked the poo. Rachel thought about it. It is poo, but it was Jake's poo. And that cock did look like it would feel great in Rachel's pussy. Fine, let's do it, said Rachel. The poo slowly moved to Rachel and passionately kissed her, sticking his poo tongue in her mouth. Rachel threw up a bit, but was really turned on by the kiss. Her pussy began pouring her juice again, and the poo caressed and massaged Rachel's body, leaving poo marks all over her. Rachel didn't care anymore. It felt great. The poo knew exactly where to massage her, and Rachel's pussy began pumping out so much juice her ass was getting soaked. The poo began kissing all over Rachel's body. He kissed her shoulders, slowly moved to her breasts, and sucking on her nipples gently before continuing down her stomach, past her navel, and finally to Rachel's pussy. The poo started licking Rachel's clit, gently at first, then faster, and faster, till he was licking so fast bits of his poo tongue flew off and hit the mirror. Rachel was trying not to make any noise because she knew her mom would hear her. But she was in ecstasy. She couldn't help but let out a few quiet moans. The poo took her whole pussy into his mouth and shoved his tongue deep inside, drinking every drop of Rachel's juices. Then the poo looked into Rachel's eyes. Are you ready? He asked. She nodded in approval. The poo grabbed his member and placed it on Rachel's stomach. See how deep this is gonna go? Said the poo. Rachel was ready for it. He slid his poop dick down towards her pussy, leaving a trail of feces down her stomach. He rested the head of his cock on her pussy lips and looked longingly into her eyes. And then he thrust it. All 12 inches rammed into Rachel's pussy at once. She let out a yelp of pleasure and grabbed her shit-stained mouth to contain her moans. The poo waited a few seconds and then began moving. In and out, slowly at first, but steadily increasing in speed. His poop dick hitting every spot in Rachel's pussy. She was trying so hard not to moan, but couldn't help it. She let out moan after moan as the turd beast filled her with his massive erection. He reached up and rubbed Rachel's titties and body, passionately massaging her body, covering her in poo. The poo began furiously pounding Rachel's pussy. Rachel had never felt so good in all of her life. She screamed in pleasure, and she orgasmed for the first time. Her body convulsing in orgasmic pleasure as the poo kept pumping her full of his shitcock. For hours Rachel had orgasm after orgasm, and the poo showed no signs of stopping, and Rachel was enjoying every last second of it. Rachel's mom had began banging on the door, trying to get in to see what was happening, but Rachel didn't answer. She didn't even acknowledge or care that her mom was there anymore. The poo finally started to slow down, and Rachel looked at him. "Tired out yet?" said Rachel, exhausted from multiple orgasms. "We barely even started," said the poo. Suddenly, Rachel felt something pressing against her anus. The poo had grown a second poop dick and was forcing it into Rachel's anus. She was hesitant at first, but knew she couldn't resist. The poo now had filled both of Rachel's holes and had returned pumping ferociously. "Reminds me of my old home," the poo jokingly reflected. Rachel moaned and screamed in orgasmic bliss. She was no longer having multiple orgasms, but was instead constantly orgasming, as if all her orgasms were merging. They continued for the rest of the night. Rachel's mom had to get a hotel because she couldn't sleep with all the noise in the house. Finally, after 15 hours of straight lovemaking, the Pooh began to cringe. He let out a loud and began coming. He filled Rachel's pussy with his shit cum and pulled out, spraying his fecal seed all over Rachel in her bathroom. Rachel was convulsing all over the bathroom floor, and the Pooh finished coming and went limp. The two lay together on the bathroom floor, covered in pussy juice and the shit's pooch. The Pooh lovingly cuddled Rachel. The two kissed before passing out from exhaustion. Rachel woke up on her bed completely clean. Was it all just another dream? She wondered. She could smell breakfast being made and went into the kitchen. There the Pooh was cooking breakfast and was talking to Rachel's mom. "Good morning, sweetie," both the Pooh and Rachel's mom said simultaneously. "Breakfast will be ready soon," said the Pooh. "Mom, could you come here for a second?" Rachel signaled to her mother to come into the other room as the Pooh went back to cooking. "Mom, you not freaked out by this?" asked Rachel. "I was at first, but she was so nice and bathed and clothed you and tucked you in so sweetly." They all sat around the table and enjoyed a delicious breakfast together. "Where will you go when you leave?" Rachel asked the Pooh. "I no longer have a home. I don't know where I will go," explained the Pooh. Rachel looked distraught. Her mom spoke up. "Well, if you're going to stay here, you'll need a name." Rachel looked at her mom with glee. "I do not have a name," said the Pooh. Rachel thought about it for a second. Then she remembered. The Pooh was basically hers and Jake's child, since it was birthed from their combined efforts. "How about Chad?" Rachel asked. "Chad, eh? I love it!" exclaimed the Pooh. They all had a jolly good laugh and lived happily ever after. The end.